The fire burned low at 221B Baker Street, casting long amber shadows across the cluttered precision of the sitting room. Outside, London muttered in the damp hush of evening. Dr. Watson folded his newspaper with a sigh. "Mrs. Hudson informs me," he began, "that the grocer engaged her for 20 minutes this morning on the subject of the weather. A remarkable feat, given that it has done nothing but drizzle for a fortnight." From the armchair, Sherlock Holmes exhaled a thin ribbon of smoke and did not look up from the chemical monograph resting upon his knee. "The weather," said Holmes coolly, "is the final refuge of those unwilling to discuss anything of consequence." Watson smiled faintly. "Surely you cannot object to harmless pleasantry. Civilization depends upon a certain lubrication of manners." Holmes snapped the book shut. "My dear Watson, civilization depends upon truth. What you call lubrication, I call evasion." He rose and crossed to the window, hands clasped behind his back. "Observe the common exchange. How are you?" "I am quite well." A falsehood in the majority of cases. The speaker is burdened by debt, by disappointment, by private vice, and yet he proclaims himself fine, as though the word itself might serve as a sedative. Watson tilted his head. "You believe them all liars?" "I believe," Holmes replied, "that most men prefer the comfort of pretense to the labor of candor. If they are not disguising misery, they are parading it in diluted form, complaining of trifles so that the true rot beneath remains undisturbed." He gestured toward the street below. "The clerk who laments the rain does not mention the gambling debt that consumes his wages. The gentleman who bemoans the inconvenience of traffic does not confess that his marriage is in ruins. They circle their calamities like timid explorers, speaking instead of umbrellas and omnibus schedules." Watson considered this. "And yet, Holmes, might not such conversations serve as a coping mechanism? A way to endure?" Holmes turned sharply. "Coping, yes, but coping is not curing. A man may chatter about cricket scores while his finances collapse. He may exchange pleasantries from a hospital bed brought about by years of indulgence, consoling himself with remarks about the broth. Meanwhile, the true diagnosis remains untouched." He resumed his seat, steepling his fingers. "Small talk is often the narcotic of the respectable. It preserves face while reality decays. People speak of simple things because simple things demand no accountability. To admit, I am ruined through my own indiscipline, or I am ill because I ignored every warning, requires courage. Far easier to discuss the weather." Watson's expression softened. "You place a heavy burden upon honesty." Holmes's gaze flickered with unusual intensity. "Truth is always heavy, my dear Watson, but it is the only substance capable of supporting a man when his circumstances grow dire. If one is broke and near destitute through poor planning, then one must say so, first to oneself, then to others who might assist. If one's body fails due to excess, then the excess must be named." He leaned back, the faintest trace of melancholy crossing his features. "Real communication is not the exchange of agreeable noises. It is the alignment of perception with reality. Without that alignment, no remedy is possible." Watson rose and placed another log upon the fire. "And yet," he said gently, "society would be a severe place if every greeting were an autopsy." Holmes allowed himself the ghost of a smile. "Quite so. I do not advocate cruelty, Watson, only clarity. Civility is admirable, so long as it does not become camouflage." Outside, the drizzle continued its steady descent. Within, the silence that followed was not evasive, but deliberate, two minds content. For once, without pretense.